Our next guest, William, we have Dave Gibbons and Christina Favela from Yosemite Survival. Hello, Dave. How are you?
How you doing?
Hello, Christina. How are you?
Good.
Yosemite Survival. Is this for? We're going to talk about if you get lost in the mountains.
If you get lost in the mountains, or if it's just something simple like I have to evacuate due to an apartment fire to a Red Cross shelter. Everything in between.
Okay. Well, which one do you want to start with?
That's up to you.
Okay. Well, let's start with the survival in the mountains.
Sure. A lot of people have the idea that if there's a calamity, if there's a natural disaster, or asteroid from the sky, that we're just going to take off to the mountains and survive. No, you're not.
Why? Why? It's not that easy?
No, it isn't. How are you going to make fire? How are you going to make shelter? What plants can I eat? How do I trap? How do I gather insects? What insects can I eat? All of the above.
Do you know the answers to all of those?
Yep.
Well, let's go through them, okay? I'm ready. I want to survive.
Well, we're going to have to start with, is there any physical injuries? What are you going to use for a pharmacy? What can we use to treat your sprained wrist?
You mean
or
like
your
what
broken leg?
plants out there will work? That
Sure.
kind of thing?
Yeah. Where did aspirin come from?
I don't
Started from
know.
the willow bark.
From where?
The willow tree was the original aspirin.
Oh, really?
That's how we derived aspirin from that.
Okay.
And then we take it on down from there to where we need bigger pain medications, or do we need something for a rash, or do we need something for a salve? What are we going to use? How are we going to do it? Native Americans have done this for centuries, and we now go down to Rite Aid, Walmart, etc., and buy what we need. How do we find it and make it? Once there's a disaster and the grid goes down, or you're stuck in the backcountry, broken leg, waiting for search and rescue, pain or no pain? What are you going to eat? How long did your backpacking food last? There's a lot of what-ifs out there on your particular situation.
Have you survived on your own out there?
Certainly, many times.
How long?
I have probably 3 days is my longest.
3 days. And
It took me 3 days
are
to
you
get
talking
out.
3 days you went out there without any supplies to survive?
Yep.
You just got out of your car and started walking.
Walk out your front door, come back in 3 days. Hail, party, sound, have a good time.
And you're talking about in Yosemite area?
In the Sierra Nevadas.
Tell me how you survived, Dave.
Well, we can make shelter, we can make fire, we
Tell
can
me how
find
you
edibles.
did it. In your 3 days, what were you doing?
We were foraging for edibles, and that's a continual effort. You can't just stop at this one patch. You have to gather throughout the day. At the same time, we're evaluating where we're going to get water from, or where we're going to find water. How are we going to purify that water so where we don't get something nasty? And then make a shelter for the night, enjoy ourselves, do it again the next day.
You trapped?
We can, but for 3 days you don't need to. And besides, there's
For
more
3
protein
days you
in
can,
insects.
you can live off the bark of the tree and that kind of stuff?
Basically, yes. But there's insects have 90% protein compared to a beef cow with only 30%. So you get a lot more bang for your ounce.
The cow's a lot
Grubs.
bigger than an insect, though. So you got to
How much
collect a
more am
lot
I
of
going
them,
to
right?
find? Yeah, well, sure, I collect a lot of them, but how much are you really going to need for a meal? I mean, maybe a handful is more than enough.
And also the energy to
Do you
kill.
eat bugs, Christina?
I'll do it if I need to, but that's what's great about his class is that you're putting yourself in that mindset, and so to wait to find out when you actually are in that situation is probably not a good idea. So what's great about this school is that we put you in that situation, and you are really thinking about, can I do this if I need to?
So in the school, the school's not in a school. The school's out in nature?
The school's out in nature. We start in a classroom just to introduce you, see what you have. We allow you to go out and try your equipment, try what you think you're going to need, and then if it doesn't work, we'll fix it, we'll take care of you. You'll have a good time, you will learn. You'll see what your personal limitations are, and then we'll come back and we'll have a good time.
Why did you take this class?
Honestly, I got into it through just meeting different people, and I've always grown up with, camping, hiking, and stuff like that, but actually going out there and seeing if I can survive and find food, make shelter, make a fire, I didn't think I could do any of those things, and so I went to these classes and tested myself, and every class that I go to, even now, after I've gone to quite a few of them, it still surprises me how much I don't know. So it's just...
Have you tried to go out and survive for a few days out in the wilderness? By yourself?
No, not by myself. I just recently did a backpacking trip, but that was only, a day and a half? An overnighter.
And so you didn't take much with you?
No, when we took our food, we took our supplies that we needed, but if anything happened during that backpacking trip, say we got lost, say we got caught in a storm, we would be able to have, we actually went during a storm, but whatever. I would have stuff that I could use to survive because of the skills that I've learned in these classes.
Now, Dave, where'd you grow up?
I grew up all over the country, but predominantly up here in the Sierras.
Okay, so do you think you just take to it naturally?
Not so much take care of it naturally, but through my training and through my ancestors and my relatives, we've always been cattle ranchers, self-sufficient. I have 38 years teaching search and rescue, wilderness skills, wilderness survival, mountain survival, to where, yeah, now it's just a natural progression.
You ever have one of your students come back and go, "Oh God, thank God I took your class"?
Several times they've come back and go, "This helped.
Yeah.
This helped a lot." You know, anybody can go out and potentially survive and make it through the night or two, but are you comfortable? You know, misery is just an adventure wrongly conceived. Just go out and enjoy ourselves. Let's go out and be comfortable.
Well, and also prepare if it needs to be longer than what we expect. So for my backpacking trip, we knew it's going to be overnight. We'll be back the next day. But if something happens, you know, am I prepared? Am I comfortable? Am I confident in my skills? Yeah.
In search and rescue, we've had several people that have started a backpacking trip and within a mile broke a leg. Okay. One instance, the gentleman had gotten basically a half a mile to 3/4 of a mile from the trailhead, broke both legs, okay, and spent 3 weeks.
Wow.
Okay.
3 weeks in the wilderness?
3 weeks in the
Waiting to be
wilderness,
found?
waiting to be found with 2 broken legs. He finally crawled out, okay, because we had assumed, or at the time the search and rescue team for that county had assumed that he was in another part of the county based on how long he had been gone. In reality, he was shouting distance from his car. But it took him several days to crawl a quarter or 3/4 of a mile.
Wow.
With 2 broken legs.
Do you ever take people out like on adventures?
Yes, we
Yeah.
do 1 day, 2 day, 3 day excursions.
So if I want to go, I just sign up for it?
Call me up
How often do you do those?
every month.
Really?
Every month.
Where are you going this month?
This month we're probably going to go up about 4,000 foot in the Sierras, National Forest, private land. that area.
What elevation do you start out at?
We'll start out about 3.
Climb up another 1,000?
Yeah, you'll have
What
fun.
does that cost?
The 3-day trip costs about $300.
Uh-huh.
Okay, but we're going to
You bring real food, though. You're not eating bugs for 300, are you?
you're going to try what you're willing to try. We're not
Okay.
going to push you to do anything.
Okay.
We're going to encourage it, and we're going to show you that, yeah, these things are fairly tasty in some cases.
And you're
Some of them
taking,
are quite sweet.
tents?
We're going to make shelter and or use what you would have in, say, your bug out bag or something like that.
Tents aren't really realistic to take.
They're a lot of weight.
Yeah, they're heavy.
Do I
So
need one? No.
Take a tarp.
Because a tarp, you can make a tent real quickly.
Tarp, I can make a tent, I can make a sun shelter, I can make a windbreak, I can make a rain shelter, I can wrap up, whatever I want to do with it. Versus a tent is a purpose-built piece of gear, and it weighs. So I got to carry that. I
Sounds
try
like
to
a
go
lot of
kind of
fun.
lightweight.
Sounds like something I'd like to
It's a
go
lot
out
of
and do
fun.
sometime.
It's challenging. You don't really realize how hard it is until you go out and do it.
But I bet you
know,
guys
it's-
have a lot
can
of fun,
learn.
huh?
Oh, it's
Oh, we always
so
have
much
fun.
Yeah.
Check our website out, all the reviews, it's just how much fun did we have. And I learned, so it's even better.
Thanks a lot for coming by.
No problem,
All right.
sir.
Thank
Thank
you. All right, hey, we're going to take a quick commercial break.